tonight, of course. Meanwhile, from a district soccer championship to our top 12 plays of the week, all from the district playoffs again. These are semifinals. Here we go.
Heartland Football Friday Top 12 Plays of the Week, sponsored by the Pickleball Factory.
It's the fog game, but Charleston's Ajare Wells still comes away with the 2-point conversion in the tough conditions in a tough district loss to Portageville at play number 6. Rams running at number 5, Scott City's Rustin Underwood with the big gain against powerful Dexter. This carry would lead to an Underwood scoring play. Defensive greatness at play number 4, Cape Central's Malachi Johnson with the pick right before half to keep Webster Groves out of the end zone in an impressive Tigers victory. Another big-time interception at number 3. This time it's Devin Turnbow with the perfect swipe to shut down a Scott City drive and a Bearcats win. Sac City Lutheran strikes at play number 2. Quarterback Kai McDowell airs it out to Tucker Teague, who does the rest in a big Crusader scoring play against Hayti. But the Indians turn the tables with this incredible one-handed grab by Javante Payne. Hayti snags the victory and the top play in this week's Heartland Football Friday Countdown.
All right, of course, we'll be back with a bunch more good plays Friday night on Heartland Football Friday as we head to the championship of the districts. Meanwhile, a former Heartland baseball star